Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the colorful world of PalWorld, where adorable creatures and exciting adventures await. In this video, we'll be covering the best starter pals, sharing some essential early gameplay tips, and exploring the world to help you kick off your PalWorld journey on the right paw. So let's jump right in. Alright, let's talk about the heart of PalWorld, the pals themselves. Choosing the right starter pal can set the tone for your entire adventure. While personal preference plays a role, here are a few pals that stand out early in the game. The Fox Sparks, known for its versatility, it's an excellent all-around pal. Its mix of offensive and defensive abilities makes it a great companion for various situations. Personally, I think it's a lot better than, say, the Ruby, as there is a harness where you can literally use this pal as a flamethrower. You'll find them in the starter area of the Windswept Beginnings Island if you head around the castle area. Since capturing the Fox Spark shouldn't be too hard, as you don't really need another pal to get them. You can easily wear them down with simple arrow attacks, but just watch out to dodge their flame abilities, as burning is an overtime effect. They may not do a lot of immediate damage, but the burning effect can really wear you down quickly if you're not careful. Naturally, if you have any water types, they'd fare pretty well against the Fox Sparks. I'm using this Nightwing just to capture him quickly. The Nightwing does a lot of damage with its aerial tornado attack, so you gotta be careful to, not kill it. Remember, you can interrupt most PAL attacks just by unsummoning them. However, if they already have unleashed an attack, it will continue even after you unsummon them. Also remember this for taking down boss pals. If they unleash an attack and you throw your capture ball, that attack will still be active while they are being captured, which means you could still die while they are being captured. If you prefer a ranged approach, Chillet is your go-to pal. His ice-based attacks can give you an advantage in early battles, especially against fire-type enemies. It's especially useful since it does volley attacks in 3s to 4s. It can also freeze enemies, although its attack patterns seem to be somewhat random. This is a capturable boss-type Pokemon, Earr, pal that is in Windswept Beginnings Island in the castle area. It spawns around level 11 and can be taken down if you have a Fox Sparks and probably a Dark-type pal. We're gonna do just a little test here to see how this Chillet works. This is the Marmorist. Ideally, the Marmorist is a grass-type pal, so a fire-type would work better. Yeah, this fight is not going well. I'm obviously under level, but I had to try it out. Now the Chillet is another rideable type pal, although I think the craftable saddle isn't until level 16 or so. It might just be level difference, but it doesn't look like the Chillet is doing a lot of damage to the Marmorist, unfortunately. We're gonna try to switch it up to my Fox Sparks to see what the difference is purely based on type. So he's doing a bit more damage, but there's just no way due to the level difference. It just goes to show you the right pal type is crucial for some fights. Alright, so this is basically how the boss fight versus the Chillet went down. Like I said, the Fox Sparks is a pretty good go-to versus most other pals in the early game. Other good starting pals are the Daydream and Depresso. They have very strong attacks, and you'll mostly find them either at night or higher level spawns in dungeons and caves. So here we have some other excellent starter pals. The Depresso does a lot of damage as well as the Daydream. The Daydream's best weapon is the K-Blast, or whatever that follows you around. It can totally be a game changer since it literally chases enemies. My Fox Sparks is destroying these guys just due to the level difference. I'm mostly kiting here as this character is on my own server and I kind of made it for the purpose of this video to show the raw pal versus pal fights. Obviously, if you're running a gun type or bow type ranger build, that added damage is going to amplify whatever your pal can dish out. One thing about this game that is interesting, you could technically play it as a pure third-person shooter or action-adventure without even using pals. Or you could specifically play it using only pals. For the Chillet boss fight, it seems most bosses or higher level fights will automatically have the enemy targeting you rather than your pal, so you want to make sure you put a lot into stamina as you can easy kite them while your pal does most of the damage. closer you are in level, the higher the chance the enemy will focus more on your pal. Spring is definitely the main strategy here. Either that or ranged attacks with either the 3-shot or fire bow. I wouldn't try rolling here as the animation isn't fluid, and you stop your momentum when you finish the roll, which means any enemy that has string attacks will totally hit you if you try rolling. It's better to sprint about to dodge their attacks.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I can see a bit of a Dark Souls-esque influence here with the combat. If the devs really lean into it, you could totally make a very punishing server.
Yeah.
And just like that, we've got our chillet, so I didn't have any open slots, so I can't use them right away, so I'll have to head back to base. So one of the most common and probably the most used starting pal is the Kativa. This is a very basic low-level pal, but you can turn it into a decent fighter. Right off the bat, it has its melee attacks, but remember, with certain ability fruits, you can easily give this Kativa an air, fire, water, or electric attack. I'm on the multiplayer server now, so I actually didn't even have one of these guys yet.
Yeah. Ha.
Let's take a look at the base stats. Typically, the Kativa is great for base building early on as it can do most of the tasks you need, and it's strong enough for capturing other low-tier pals like the sheep or chicken for farming. Typically, though, this is something you want to leave to manage your base unless you're seriously considering upgrading it with ability fruits. Next up is the El Raichu clone. The Sparkit, like the Kativa, or most of the bipedal pals. It can do most of the work well around base building. This one is a little more suited for combat as it has a few electric attacks. So I leveled up my Sparkit with one of the ability fruit drops. I'm not sure where I got it, I think just exploring, but I added this laser targeting electric attack to my Sparkit, so let's test it out. This is another one of those over-level situations, and frankly, the Sparkit is not the best against this. I'll cover some of these less common PAL types in a later vid, but now let's see what it can do. It's doing a fair amount of damage, it's just the wrong attack type against this Dinosaur. I'm gonna try to help it out a bit with some fire bow attacks. It also is a necessary PAL when it comes to higher level base building. However, I'd still call this a starter PAL as it can be found in the Windswept Beginnings Island near the castle. It usually likes to spawn in the forested area or near the cliffs. It does deal a fair amount of damage similar to the Fox Sparks and has a sort of OE, electric blast effect, but the downside is it's very squishy and easy to kill. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the Mega-type PAL balls to capture this thing with. I'll explain those in another vid, but the basic gist is, the stronger the enemy, the larger size PAL ball you'll need to capture it. Alright, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more PalWorld content. There's a lot of PALs to cover as well as PAL builds. Stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video.